What you actually do is, this is your traditional data center, racks and all the things I mentioned, hardware, software, UPS, batteries, staff, change requests, and you start to outsource this. Outsource it where? You start to outsource it to these huge data centers which have been built around the world. And what do these data centers do? They use the economy of scale. So Amazon, for example, had about 1 year ago had 500,000 servers in its data center. Today, I think it has 700,000 servers. So it's huge economies of scale. They buy electricity cheaper. They have specialist staff to handle this. And because of the economy of scale, you are able to outsource it. They specialize in this function. You don't have to do everything for yourself. You can just outsource. So that basically is the basic concept of cloud computing. And what happens as a result of that? Look on the left side, what happened to the enterprise data center? You see that little box, 3 racks? It was a whole, it was 6 feet high. Now it's only this much. 3 pizza boxes. So what's happened to the data center? It just shrunk. And what does this translate to? You just saved on power, cooling, space, and a huge headache of managing your IT infrastructure. And the basic concept behind that is virtualization, but I won't go into that. That's a technical subject. And for business agility and economic reasons, the cloud is becoming an increasingly important option for companies. So what are the advantages of cloud computing, ladies and gentlemen? The advantages of cloud computing, now that we know what cloud computing is just outsourcing in a very intelligent way so that economies of scale are used. You outsource your IT function to cloud provider, so that's a basic element. You focus on your core business. You avoid long and laborious procurement cycles. You achieve business agility. What does business agility mean? Business agility means that you are able to respond to the business. IT should be able to respond quickly because there's competition out there. The economic situation is changing. Align IT to business requirements. How many of you are work in companies in which IT is a solo flight? It's an island out there. It's not aligned with the business. I'm sure many of you will agree that IT, because of it comes from a technological background. IT people sometimes don't merge into the company culture because they feel that they're technologists. So as we move on, add new infrastructure capacity quickly and at lower costs. That's the advantage. Faster time to market, minimize IT capex and convert to OPEX. Now this is very key for all of the chartered accountants. I'll read that again. Minimize IT capex. Why IT capex? When you put up your own data center in your company, in your organization, you need a lot of capex. But when you outsource it, it's all OPEX. It's pay as you go, it's monthly payments. Pay as you grow. And finally, convenient provisioning and deprovisioning. So let's move on. 3 cloud computing characteristics. Very, very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. 3 cloud computing characteristics. Very simple. You can remember this. First of all, it's elastic. Elastic, you can extend it, you can contract it. Whenever you want. Make it bigger, make it smaller. On the fly. Whenever you need to. The second point. It's metered. What does metered mean? You see I have that diagram, utility computing. When you use KESC electricity, if it's ever coming, if the electricity is coming, which most of the time it's not, but when there is electricity, what do you plug in your hairdryer, you plug in your TV, you only pay for what you use, right? But in many cases that isn't true here in Pakistan, but in any case, we usually pay for more than we're using. But this is the concept of cloud. First of all, it's elastic, then it's metered. Metered means whatever you use is being measured and you will only pay for that. You will not pay for anything else. And it's sold on demand. Whenever you need it, you take it. It's out there. It's available. The data center has already been built. It's huge. The economies of scale are there. All you need to do is, the pricing is there. You just click on a few buttons, take your credit card, and you can have maybe 100 servers of capacity in a matter of 5 minutes, working for you. How's that? Time to market, agility, OpEx. Consider the ease of launching a business. Consider the barrier to entry. You don't need 7 months or a year and $1 million to raise a product or to set up an IT infrastructure anymore. You do not need that anymore. It's out in the cloud. It's available. And frankly, it can take 5 minutes for you to set up a complete data center because it's already out there, like I mentioned. Okay, this is very interesting. This is a graph that Amazon has uses to describe the advantage of cloud computing. So on the y-axis, you have computing and storage processing, and the level of computing. This is more computing. This is less computing, and here we have time. So when a business is being formed, you really try and project the green line is predicted utilization of IT. This is how much IT you will need. This is how many servers you will need, because this is how many customers you will have. Okay, so it's capacity planning. So this is the predicted capacity of IT, and then this is what you do. You see these blue steps? This is the only way a traditional data center gets capacity. You get it in steps. You build this much in, then you spend 6 months in a procurement cycle, and boom, you get more capacity. And then that stays, and then boom, you get more capacity. But there are inherent inefficiencies in this approach. What are those inefficiencies? Large capital expenditure in a traditional environment, and look at the actual utilization, this red graph. The green was the predicted, the red one is the actual. So what's happening? Look at this. This black little mountain out there. What's that? You just lost 20,000 customers. Why? Because you had planned a certain capacity and you cannot change it suddenly in a traditional data center, and your actual capacity requirement, the red graph, went above it. Market dynamics, people loved your product. They wanted to buy more. You did not have the agility. You did not have the capability to instantly go out and get more capacity. So how is cloud different? Look at this yellow or orange graph. The orange graph allows you to closely follow in an agile manner what you actually need. And what's this? Look at this. That was lost customers. What's this? This is additional capacity just sitting there. Your actual capacity, which is running, and your available capacity, there's a big portion which is unused. I'll give you an example. Traditionally, data centers, the way they have been used, this is a very good example. Consider there's a Daewoo bus which runs between Karachi and Hyderabad. 2 times in the year on Eid Rush, there are 100 passengers. But on a typical day, there are only 10 passengers. So the traditional data center, the way it has been built is that you run a bus with 100 seats. And you run that bus with 100 seats all the year. You run it all the year between Karachi and Hyderabad. And how many seats are taken? Just 10. Why do you have this 100-seater bus? Because 2 days in the year, you will have 100 people. That's the way traditional data centers are built. But the cloud computing gives you the capability to run a bus with 10 seats and on the fly, switch it to 100. So what do you have? The advantages of cloud computing: you increase your margin, you have dynamic usage, you have speed of cost reduction, faster access to new assets and capabilities, and more responsive to business. There are just some basic terminology which you can take back with you when you talk to your CIO tomorrow morning. There is a private cloud, which is inside your organization. You can still do it inside your organization. There's a public cloud which is available for everybody. And then there's a hybrid cloud, which is a mix of these. You use a little bit of your private and you use a little bit of your public. Cloud offerings, there are 3, because you're going to be talking to your IT people tomorrow, you're launching your strategy for cloud tomorrow morning, if you haven't already. There are 3 flavors of cloud. infrastructure, platform, and software.